I recently picked up a book called All It Takes Is a Goal, where the author shares a 3-step system that he uses to accomplish all his goals. Now, this book was written by a productivity expert and leadership speaker named John Off. John actually runs a podcast conveniently named All It Takes Is a Goal, but he also has written a series of other books called Finish, Your Next Playlist, and Soundtracks. So in this video, I'm gonna reveal what his simple 3-step plan is, how anyone can use it, and then go over a couple examples how I use the system to tackle my own goals. Now, how do you select goals? If you're anything like me, I used to pick them randomly. I'm like, you know what? A money goal sounds great. Love to save some cash. Exercise? Sure, why not? Learning a new language? That sounds kind of fun. But he reveals this is the worst way to set goals. He recommends categorizing your past. Basically, you need to get together a list of all the best moments in your life for the last 20 or so years. Then you're going to categorize them into 4 distinct buckets, and this will help you decide what is important to you and what's not. The first bucket is experience. This is something that you took part in mostly alone. Next is accomplishment. This is a best moment that's achieved through effort. The next bucket is relationships. This is a moment another person made best, so it includes other people. And lastly, we have a bucket called object. This is anything that physically you bought or purchased. This is my list in Notion. So you can see I just made a simple table in Notion and then just added a description column and then a category. So this is just a select property. So I essentially just went through some items that I thought were some of the best moments of my life, like being valedictorian of mechanical engineering, and then categorizing them so that would be an accomplishment, right? Because I put in effort. Learning to ski in Canada was an experience. If it involved other people and that made the experience the best part, then I would change that to a relationship category. And then buying my fancy YouTube camera that we're recording on now is an object, right? So then you start looking at these and you start saying, okay, I actually have a lot of relationship tags, a lot of experience, a lot of accomplishment, and not a lot of objects. So this is gonna help me figure out what is most important to me when it comes to goal setting. From your life list, look at the categories that are the most common. You wanna start with a goal in one of those categories because you know that's going to make you the happiest from achieving that goal. For example, I have a ton of relationship categories, but then I started to look into it and see that they all involve physical activities like boating, biking, skiing. So I might want to start with a health goal because obviously those are some of my best moments. So I want to make sure my health is in prime condition so I can continue having those experiences in relationship categories. He suggests starting small. This isn't the first time we've heard these, habit gurus talk about starting small, but it does work. So essentially you want to start with something that feels like it's not enough. So 10,000 steps a day, 2 pages a day, floss 1 tooth a day, something like that. Super small, and do it for 1 week. That is what's called an easy goal. Then he suggests transitioning into a middle goal. Now, middle goals are just an extension of your easy goal. So instead of doing it for a week, you're gonna now do it for around a month to a couple months. And finally, you'll be left with a guaranteed goal. And that essentially means that if you continue and extend on your goal, you'll eventually accomplish something very big. So you may read a couple pages a day, but that could lead to a guaranteed goal of getting through 30 books a year, something like that. So that kind of compounds into a guaranteed goal. So you're not really attacking the guaranteed goal, it's just going to happen because of your small goal extending forward. So you might be thinking, this sounds a little simple. We've heard this all before. Start small, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what makes this different? You have to track everything on a scorecard. Let me show you. This is what I'm talking about when I say you have to track everything on a scorecard. This is my personal YouTube scorecard. You can do this with literally anything. Now, this is a weekly scorecard. You can do daily, which is what is recommended, and I do that as well. But this is kind of what I want to show you. It has a list of things and then things you're tracking and then goals. So each week I come in here and I say, I posted 1 video, +1, right? I gained 40 subscribers, this many views, blah. He actually recommends only picking goals that are within your control. Like, I can't control how many people subscribe to my YouTube channel or how many views I get or the revenue I get or the watch time. The only thing I can really control is this first one, videos. So that is something that I'm going to change and move forward with, is focusing on goals that are within my control. Another way you can go about doing it is actually using an accomplishment calendar or a calendar on Canva where you give yourself little stickers each day you do something. But I usually do big accomplishments, but you can also do daily kind of habit trackers on a monthly calendar as well. I actually sell these, so I will actually link those in the description below if you wanted a copy of the scorecard or the accomplishment calendar. Now, this author actually came out with his own calendar, which is great because he was talking about how he uses a calendar to check off each day for a very small goal, like walking 10,000 steps, reading a couple pages, writing every day, that kind of stuff. So he has actually a calendar on this website called newyear.net. I actually purchased a dry erase version of this and the big one, which is the 6 foot by 3 foot calendar. So I'm excited to see how that works out. So I bought a couple of these. They're dry erase, they're really awesome, and they have the entire year, which is what I was excited about because I always have to find like a monthly calendar that I check off, and you know, it's not as fun. And also it's handwritten, right? It's not virtual. So I have a virtual, and then I'm gonna try the handwritten one. We'll see which one works best. So that is the key. Start with a virtual calendar or a physical calendar and check off each day you do your little goal or habit or activity. Now, everything I just went through is kind of completely useless unless you have already unpacked your schedule. You'll end up committing to goals you can't actually follow through on because you never had the time to begin with. In her book, Happier Hour, Cassie Holmes actually walks through a 2-step system on how she creates the perfect schedule. She calls this concept time crafting. I will link it up here if you're interested in seeing how she creates the perfect schedule and how I personally use it to make my perfect schedule. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.